Here is a secret email, a hidden name, and a story that reaches all the way from the United States to India. You're watching TimesXP. It's me, Thriti Yatri, and let's talk about the dark shadow of Jeffrey Epstein scandal that is back in the spotlight. Newly released files, fresh documents, and chilling revelation. And this time, the trail leads to India. A file opens and a shocking detail emerges. Inside the latest batch of investigation papers, officials found reference to an Indian girl listed among Epstein's alleged victims. Though her identity remains hidden for good purpose, but her details heavily blacked out. But one thing is absolutely clear, authorities in the US, they were trying to find her. Not to investigate her, of course, but to help her. Well, the revelation comes from an internal government email dated January 13, 2020. The subject line was simple yet haunting: Epstein victims. Inside that email, officials described tracing a victim believed to be living in India. They spoke about collecting her address, they talked about getting her contact details, they even suggested coordinating with the embassy of the US, New Delhi. The goal? That was to ensure that she received the compensation and psychological support. But you know why were authorities trying to find her? Because Epstein's case, it wasn't just about criminal charges. It was about justice, healing, financial compensation for the survivors. Officials mentioned assistance under the New York Victims Compensation Program. Well, the email also suggested paperwork that needed to be forwarded to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI. And it highlighted something deeply important: therapy support for eligible victims through emergency assistance program. This wasn't just about money though, it was about recovery. Yes, basically the message was filled with redactions and silence. Large part of the email remains hidden though. Well, be it names, addresses, personal history, all removed from the public eye, but one section stood out. Officials clearly described the individual located in India and asked colleagues to help find that girl. Now that single line confirms something disturbing here. Epstein's victims, his network, allegedly reached from beyond American borders. Let me give you some background. The man at the center of the storm. Jeffrey Epstein, he was once a very powerful financier with connections to very wealthy and very influential figures. But his empire collapsed when he was accused of running a massive trafficking network involving underage girls. In August 2019, Epstein was found dead inside a US prison while waiting for his trial. Authorities ruled it as suicide, but his death raised global controversy and endless questions. And for many victims, it meant justice was delayed or possibly denied. And you know why this revelation matters today? Well, the mention of an Indian victim highlights how global this scandal may have been. This also shows how authorities attempted to reach survivors even years after crimes were alleged. For victims, specifically those living far away, tracking them down is not easy. Cultural barriers, fear, stigma, and distance often silence the survivors here, which makes every effort to locate and support them extremely sensitive.